Hey guys, Yuri here, and today I prepared a very special screenwriting lesson for you. It's about character development and action! If you want to have a believable film, you need believable characters, and you help achieve that with character development. Of course, you also need a strong story as they are connected. In essence, character development means that we have to create a biography for our fictional characters, find their goals and obstacles, to figure out what they value and what they are afraid of. If we are making a film about real people, that is easier to do as records exist of their achievements, lives or anecdotes, and we can learn more about those people by interviewing them, or if they are not alive anymore, interviewing those that knew them or reading their biographies. We have more creative freedom with people who have been deceased for more centuries. First, we look at types of characters and then how to develop characters. Protagonist is the main character of your film. The story revolves around them. It is also called a hero, if in essence a good person, or an anti-hero, if a bad or negative person. We should give the protagonist flaws. That is what makes them interesting. We all have flaws and so should they. In addition, create a character arc. How the protagonist changes from point A, beginning of the film, to point B, end of the film. Usually there is one main character, but in some adventure or fantasy films, like the new Jumanji or Lord of the Rings, you have multiple ones. That is equally true for a lot of TV series, but for your first script or a film it is better to concentrate on one protagonist, so you can get the hang of writing. Sidekick has an important role in the film, but it's not the main character. We don't follow them everywhere, but they are very crucial for how the events unfold and for the protagonist. They go on an adventure with the protagonist, are there to talk to, explain situations, be the funny person in tough situations. Basically, they are there when the protagonist needs help. Sidekick is Sam to Frodo in Lord of the Rings, or Robin to Batman, or Dr. Watson to Sherlock Holmes, or Donkey to Shrek, and in Harry Potter you have two sidekicks, Ron and Hermione. Antagonist or a villain is our key bad person. The main obstacles that happen to our protagonist are because of the antagonist. Every villain needs morality. We should understand what the motives are behind their actions, why they are the total opposite from our protagonist, or even why they hate dogs, or any other animal, thing, situation, and so on. They have to have more power than the protagonist, because that makes it harder for our protagonist to succeed, and that's what actually drives him or her to become better or to gain new skills. In essence, your antagonist actually helps your protagonist or hero to develop as a character. Antagonist is not necessarily a person, it can be the internal struggles of a protagonist. That can also mean mental health issues. Love interest can be a person, animal, alien, or whatever makes your protagonist fall in love. Can be for a brief time or the whole story revolves around it. It is always more interesting to show struggles how they can't get together right away, even if it's evident that they should. Love interest can also be a sidekick or a secondary character, and we'll talk about that just in a minute. Mentor guides the protagonist through their journey. Mentor can die or be killed. Usually we do that in the second act. Famous mentors are Gandalf in Lord of the Rings, Dumbledore in Harry Potter, Obi-Wan Kenobi or Yoda in Star Wars, Mr. Miyagi in The Karate Kid, or Mufasa in The Lion King. Narrator is a character who tells the story we see, and we see it from their perspective. It can be only a voice or actual character that we see as a sidekick, mentor, secondary character, and sometimes even a protagonist. Secondary characters are still three-dimensional characters, which means we develop their stories. But the story does not revolve around them. Usually they join and help the protagonist on their journey. They can have complementary skills or are total opposites to the protagonist. Therefore, we can clearly see the characteristic traits of our protagonist. Secondary character can also be a sidekick. There are subplots in the film that revolve around secondary characters. Subplot is basically a smaller or side story that happens to our character and helps them to move forward or adds them even more obstacles. It can also be a love story. And now, flat characters. We don't know anything about them, but they can still be interesting, visually or, for example, the way how they talk. They normally just appear in one scene or two and that can be a postman, a neighbor on the street, bartender, and so on. They interact with our protagonist but are not essential to move the story forward. We don't have to have all those characters in your film, especially if it's a short, but you do need a protagonist and antagonist. Now, let's look at how we practically develop a character. We need a name, gender, age, or even exact birthday. Where do they live, that is, location, and even house type. How they look and dress, their favorite food, if they're an optimist or pessimist, their job or what do they study, hobbies, siblings or partners, pets, and so on. To make a character even more three-dimensional, we also have to figure out who or what do they love or hate. What are their fears, beliefs, values, wants, obsessions? What do they know? Any special skills, medical conditions, experiences that made a difference in their life, can be positive or traumatic, and even decisions that they regret or love. But most importantly, we have to figure what kind of a goal our protagonist has. What is the drive behind the goal, and what happens if the protagonist succeeds or fails. Now, let's check what kind of internal or external conflicts we know. The more detailed they are, the better for our character development. For nature, we have strong external conflicts, like hurricanes, earthquakes, mountains, the sea. Those are disaster movies. For society, we have racism, segregation, religion, and basically a fight against the whole society or part of it. For tech, how humans struggle against the machines like Matrix or Terminator. A main conflict is a fight between protagonist and antagonist. Can be about divorce, war, sport, so those are sport, action, and thriller films. A self-conflict is when a protagonist fights with inner demons, self-doubt, alcohol problems, or getting over someone. Reality conflict is popular in sci-fi films, and the main question is, what is real? And God or fate conflict is when a protagonist works against the widely spread belief and against higher power. Actually, the most true for ancient Greek dramas. Stakes have to be very high. They're more important than the size of a conflict. The world can be ending, but the biggest struggle a character has is if he will ever have a chance to tell his crush that he loves her. It is easiest to build characters with traits of people that you know in real life, or even develop them from your friends or family and just change them a bit, so they don't recognize themselves, obviously. To decide what kind of characters you want to create, you can also check basic personality types and simply choose the type you prefer the most. That way you will quickly create a character with positive and negative traits. So I hope you enjoyed this lesson and that you learned a ton new stuff about character development, and if you want to learn even more you can join my course, the link is in the description. The course is about screenwriting and filmmaking, but other than that, if you want to see more videos like this, just subscribe to this channel and I'll see you next time. Bye!